Welcome to the Movie Vault. Zach, so I'm gonna need you to, come in tomorrow. We're a little behind on some of our products, and we've laid off a few employees, so we're kind of playing catch up here. So that would be great if I could see you tomorrow.
On Saturday?
Yeah. You know, just think to yourself, is this good for the company?
Well,
and yes, it is. If you come in tomorrow, it is good for the company. So.
Okay. Well, okay. And I'm Zach.
I'm Tressel.
Welcome back to the Movie Vault. Once again, we are covering our 7 Deadly Sins arc, and today it's the sin of sloth, and the movie is Office Space, which came out in one of the premier movie years of all time, 1999. Mm-hmm. Although it is referenced in those group of films often, this was at the time of its release not a notable movie.
Yeah.
It was somewhat of a box office failure.
Yeah, it's kind of come into a cult classic status in some ways.
It was in that window of years where movies could get really big on cable and on video, like DVD. So Donnie Darko is another example of that. That came very soon after. That doesn't really happen anymore. I was thinking about this because I'm like, now the like direct to video type movies, I mean, they're probably a little higher quality than like direct to DVD, are like streaming movies. So movies that are like exclusive to streaming services, they don't get a theater run. And I was like, I really can't think of many streaming movies that like get legs like kind of after their release. Does that make sense?
Like it's
like,
own run
it's not
in
really
the theaters,
like
or just kind of cultural movement?
I guess you could say that too. Some movies you're like, they are in the theaters for a little bit and then they go to streaming. Are there any that get more successful once they're on streaming versus when they were in the theater? I can't think of any examples is what I'm saying.
Yeah, nothing comes to mind.
So, but I kind of miss that. I feel like we got a lot of gems with the DVD. It was like they're misunderstood in their theater run, and then you finally get understanding after you like rewatch them. Usually it's because they're on cable, so people like just have cable on in the background. They kind of watch these movies a lot. Because this was a movie that a podcast that I had listened to had mentioned that some people might not have wanted to like still be at their office when they were going to watch the movie. So it's like you're at your 9 to 5, and then we're asking you to spend another hour and a half at your 9 to 5 because Office Space was so painfully accurate to how office culture was in this period of time.
Have you had experiences like this?
I've never worked in an office like Office Space, so no. I would say working for like a large organization, you get some of the dynamics of the structure of a big company that you get in Office Space, but it's definitely not exactly the same.
I work in an office very like structured very similarly to the one in this film, but my boss is the best boss ever, so it's very different.
I like the people I work with, so I can't complain. But you can definitely see like the worst possible reality in Initech, which is a company that or at least Peter's job, Peter Gibbons, the main character in this movie, his job is to like update software for the Y2K. Like, so they're working on things that are like not going to be relevant in like a year or two. And it's just like the most oppressive looking, fluorescent light cubicle farm, the boss's office you can see at the end with like the glass windows.
Yeah, very symbolic.
Everyone's a little bit like passive aggressive, or like it's like it's implied that you have to do these things. Like I'm not and they kind of avoid confrontation, but at the same time they're like telling you need to do this, which is like I was replaying that scene where he asked him to come in on Saturday, which Peter had predicted that he was going to ask him to do. Yeah. And he's just, he won't say like, hey Peter, I need you in on Saturday because of this. Okay, great. I'll see you then. Yeah. He has to say it in this like really roundabout sort of slow way to seem like he's trying to be nice, even though he's totally being fake.
I want to have a whole conversation about Lumbergh, but before we get into that, maybe let's get into some of our intro stuff. But I will say Lumbergh, like, was the best part, honestly.
Yeah. Lumbergh's a great character.
And you did a good impression right there. That was pretty good. That was, like, pretty accurate. Yeah. Don't even make eye contact. Just like,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
Let's get into your guys' question of the day for today. Today's question is, which actor or actress would you cast to play yourself in a biopic?
Oh my gosh.
And why?
Cameron Monaghan.
Cameron Monaghan, okay.
Yeah.
I would pick off the top of my head. I'm sure there'd be a better facial
Brad Pitt? Are you
going
to pick Brad Pitt?
No. Jesse Plemons. He would have to slim down a little bit.
You picked like the plumpiest actor to you,
but
the skinniest guy. But he has blonde
hair, and he's a really good actor. So I feel like if you made him like anorexic, because I feel like he would have to do some intense. Like he's not even like a big guy. He's just like I'm pretty like lanky and skinny. So it would be tough to get down to my.
Yeah. Cameron Monaghan
weight.
Looks like me is why I picked him.
So. People have said like different actors look like me. There was a guy who is in, I can't even remember. I think he was in like one of the Maze Runner movies that somebody was like, oh yeah, you look like this guy. But that was when I was in high school.
Oh, the best friend.
Probably.
Newt.
Yes, Newt. It was that actor. So I don't know who
oh my gosh, you guys kind of look, there's kind of like a hot little, like, yeah,
what's the actor's name?
That looks like you. Yeah.
Thomas Brody Sangster.
Thomas Brody Sangster. So maybe if we're going technical, Thomas Brody Sangster would have to play me. That doesn't seem. I would rather it be like The Story of Ben, starring Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, well, awesome. Cameron Monaghan would be the most realistic. If we're picking who I want, like if it doesn't have to look like me, probably.
Let's say they can make them look enough like you to be convincing.
Michael B. Jordan. If they can make him look enough like me, I don't know what that means.
Maybe they could get his mannerisms to be.
Maybe
like
no, probably. I mean, legit Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, that would be.
But
be cool.
More realistically, I'd say who's like really good. Dude, Barry Keoghan might be cool.
That would be cool.
I don't think he would fit me, like, but I think he could. He's such a good actor. He could probably fit into that mold.
He is a very good actor,
and I would love it. Like I would love to meet him and like hang out with him.
Yeah, I would love like an actor to just have to like follow me around to study me, like to get my mannerisms and stuff. But it would also probably like be really off-putting because you'd be like, wait, these are my mannerisms. Like, you have to like understand once you see it like from an outsider perspective on like.
And then they make the movie and it's like Social Network and they hate you and you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which they're making a second one.
The story of the Last Resort Network Empire rise and how Ben cut Zach out of it.
Yeah.
And Trestle and him ran off with all the money, and Zach is a poor doctor.
Yep, poor doctor
compared to us.
You have to add all that. Yep.
All right, let's get into your guys' rating of the film. I'm gonna count down. You guys are gonna give it.
I have to remember what I rated it.
I know what you rated it because you put it on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I know. I have to stop doing this.
Yeah.
I will just not rate the movie until after we do the podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I put it on there so I know it's on there. And then, so I know the order, and so it goes in my diary in order because that's important to me.
Yeah, but you just remember which day you watched it, and you can review it later. Yeah, and the diary is. I agree. It has to be the exact
Dear diary.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
3.5.
Ooh.
So you gave it a full star higher. What'd you give it, Tress?
I gave it a 3.
3. Yeah. Wow.
So varying opinions on this.
Okay. Well,
but I have to preface this is one of those movies that I watched with like my friends in college, and it became like when you have those movies that you watch together and then you're like quoting them a lot.
Yes.
And you're like referencing things in your life in association with the movie. I feel like it gives it a new life of its own and like reason that you like the movie that's beyond just like the film itself. But I also do think it's a really smart movie at the same time. So it is hard, and I think people judge comedies harder because their goals are different than most other narrative driven films.
Yeah.
So for me, I still generally do judge comedies harder. Like it's harder for them to get high scores. But the really funny ones, I give the benefit of the doubt that I like a lot, and I end up giving them higher ratings.
You judged Mike Judge's comedy pretty highly, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, this is like I said to Tressel in the car on the way here, like this is a very unrealistic movie. At the same time, it's pretty realistic. Right?
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
So it's unrealistic and it's very much hyperbolic, and oftentimes you don't see these, mannerisms and interactions. And like you don't see a guy who burns down, the building.
Yeah, the very most extreme things that happen are not realistic, but they come out of things that are realistic.
Yeah.
They're like, we're taking this extreme, like how this person feels to its end.
Yeah. But it's realistic in like the feelings that it evokes. And I think this is like, if you work in an office and you're angry with that environment, this is your daydream, right? Burning down the office, starting a riot, quitting, this is like the thing that you are thinking about while you're crunching numbers on the computer. Like, man, if only I would just do this and I might be happier, That's what this is. This is like that reality, that daydream almost.
Yeah. And I want to, and it's important to point out that all of the really crazy stuff happens after he sees the hypnotherapist, the occupational hypnotherapist.
And he dies.
And he dies.
That's this movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he never snaps out of the hypnosis. So he's hypnotized. The hypnotherapist dies. And there's nobody to like bring him back. So the rest of the movie from that point, that's why he's such a like, all of a sudden his like character shifts. But we should probably give a little bit more background, because we're just diving right into it.
Yeah, go for it.
So Office Space is a comedy that was directed by Mike Judge and written by Mike Judge, who is most known for Beavis and Butthead, American Dad. No, not American Dad. King of the Hill.
Yeah.
And I believe he's done work on Silicon Valley as well. So it's based in a software company in the 1990s. The main character, Peter Gibbons, doesn't like his job. He's frustrated. He is in a terrible relationship with this girl, Anne, who's probably cheating on him. Everyone knows that. And he has a crush on a waitress, Joanna, who's played by Jennifer Aniston, but he cannot find the courage to actually talk to her. He has two friends at the office that he hangs out with, that are, one of which is named Michael Bolton, and he hates that he has the same name as the famous singer. And then Samir, I won't even...
They didn't even try in the movie, so...
Yeah, pretend I know how to say it. He says it's not that hard, but when you try to say it and you're not used to saying it, you're like really worried you'll mess it up. So...
That's true. Yeah, I would be so worried.
Yeah.
Because it's almost worse. It's almost better to not try.
Yeah, because if you're like confident, but then you're wrong, you like look kind of stupid. They also work with a guy named Milton Wadhams, who is the movie was initially based around this character because there was a series of animated sketches called Milton that Mike Judge made and were eventually on SNL for a little bit.
This is the psychotic one.
So yeah. So he's the one who it turns out is not actually a real employee of the company. He's looked down upon. He's constantly moved around, pushed around. He just wants he would be satisfied if you just let him do his job and didn't bother him, but everyone bothers him and it drives him insane. So since he's unsatisfied with his job, Peter decides, or he doesn't decide, he goes to this hypnotherapy session, as I was saying. He gets hypnotized. The hypnotherapist dies during the meeting. He does nothing, which Anne is critical of, but it's because he's in this state of hypnosis now. And then Anne breaks up with him. He decides that he's not going to do what he doesn't want to do. So he shows up to work late, avoids Lumbergh as much as he can. He goes fishing instead of going to work.
I want to do that. I'm sorry.
He guts his fish at the desk. He doesn't
so
care
nice.
about the TPS reports anymore. So yeah.
I don't know if you heard. Were you about to do it?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but there's a memo that went out. Yeah, I have the memo. The great thing about the conversation he has with the boss, each of the bosses, there's two bosses that come
it's
to talk
not
about,
a conversation.
is that they are not listening to a word that he says. They're just telling him to do the TPS report, because then the second boss comes and he's like, Bill already talked to me about this, but he doesn't care. He still has to finish his 2 cents, which is basically saying exactly what Bill just told him.
If you could go ahead and remember from now on, that would be great.
If you could try to remember. They're not even like requiring you to. They're just like, if you could try to remember to do this. Like, but eventually a consultant comes in to the company because they feel like it's gotten a little bloated. They're paying too many people to do the amount of work that they have. So this is a play on these consulting companies that are often hired. I think the most well-known one is McKinsey and Company. You hear about McKinsey coming into big companies, and
it's a big no-no.
Usually what happens is there's a lot of graphics and presentations, and it all leads to
you're fired.
Yeah, people being laid off.
Here's your severance package.
Which, to be fair, sometimes actually might be what happens in these companies if they just keep like creating positions and not thinking about like the productivity of the positions. Then it's like, instead of like trying to like adequately hire, they, in their period of like success, they overhire, and then when they have a dip, they start laying off, which is unfortunate, but that's a lot of times how it works.
Yeah.
In his meeting with the consultants, and they're called the Bobs, so it's the meeting with the Bobs, he impresses them with his straight shooter ability, in which he has upper management potential. In this meeting, he tells them, yeah, I probably only do about 15 minutes of actual work per week. Because he's like, I come in, I stare at the space for an hour, and then I log in, I look like I'm doing stuff. He's like very honest about the fact that he's trying to do as little as possible. And he's like, there's no motivation in this job. Like, if I work really hard, we'll ship a few more units out, and Initech will make some more money, but I won't make any more money.
Yeah.
So my only motivation is to do as little as I can to not get fired. And then also, like, the only reason I would change anything I do is to not get hassled, because he talks about how there's like 8 different managers who will come talk to him about anything that he messes up. So he just doesn't want to get hassled.
Yeah.
And you have to realize, like, Peter is representative of this person who he's not like, he doesn't have super high aspirations. Definitely not within this company. He's not somebody who's like trying to be a sweat to get a management job.
Yeah.
But we also see Michael and Samir, who are, by all accounts, good software engineers who are smart and knowledgeable. Samir seems to have a higher value for an appreciation for having a job, maybe because he's like, as presumably is a immigrant, or comes from a family of immigrants, and they are appreciative to an extent of the opportunity that they have to work in the U.S. So that's showcased. Michael seems to just kind of be a naturally like, I have to do this way, even if I hate it. He's not questioning the hierarchy as much as Peter has just lost all his motivation, and he just has stopped caring.
Yeah.
Then they add in this plot where they steal money from the company by trying to make this program that skims pennies.
It's pretty smart.
It's a smart program. I think they more so added this just so that the movie goes somewhere, and it's not just like a group of skits that are making fun of like company culture, which is kind of what the movie is basically. And it just juxtaposes that with an employee named Tom who does get fired, but then gets in a car accident and gets a lot of money. And in one of my favorite scenes, when he's talking to Peter, Tom, he's in a wheelchair, all this like orthopedic stuff holding his bones together. And he tells Peter, he's like, Peter, just keep hanging in there, because one day things will go right. Just look at me. He's like in a wheelchair, but he thinks it's so great. He is in the settlement, and we learn more from the story that he tried to kill himself after because he had been complaining for years about how he thought he was going to get fired, and it actually happened, and this was like his will to live. Then he sees his wife, and he's like, I want to stay alive. I'll raise the garage door back up. I won't get carbon monoxide poisoning anymore. Then when he backs out, he gets hit. So there's some cosmic irony there.
He was one of the best characters, Tom.
Yeah.
He could, just because he was like,
jump to conclusions, Matt.
Well, even that, the jump to conclusions, Matt. But even in his interview with the 2 Bobs from the consulting company, he's like, well, I take the papers and I take them downstairs. And they're like, why can't they just do that? Like, take the paper or send the information directly. And he's like, no, but they need to be taken from them and given to them. And they're like, so exactly what do you do here? And he's like, gets defensive. It was great.
Because he doesn't look at it like, he's like, I'm arguing for my job. And you can see the difference in, he's just trying to argue for his value as the actual position, not his value as a person to the company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could probably make an argument that, yeah, I'm just being used at the company. But he's looking at like, no, this is my job. This is what I do.
Yeah.
And if you take away what I do, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Which is like the worst idea of what you should do in those meetings.
Yeah.
But he has that's what he's been told to do his whole career. So he has no other concept of like what else you would do in that situation. Eventually they end up accidentally stealing $300,000 because Michael messed up the code. So this causes a huge problem. Peter decides he's going to confess and slip it under Lumberg's office and slips like the money under Lumberg's door. And he's just going to go to jail. That's just going to be it. He's going to take the fall. So that way Samir and Michael don't have to. But Milton, who is frustrated, he's moved to the basement, actually not getting paid by the company now because he was not an official employee but was still getting paid by.
But they didn't know he didn't know he was fired all those years
but they
ago.
never told him he was fired. So he loses it and burns down in a tech. So they never hear about the money or what happened. They know the glitch happened, they don't know why. So Peter gets a job as a construction worker like his neighbor, who's also hilarious, Lawrence, who can hear him through his wall. He has been with Joanna this time. They had a brief breakup and now they're back together. And then Samir and Michael are working at Inatrode, which is Inatech's rival. They've kind of moved on, and I guess he's found more satisfaction through the reward of physical labor as opposed to this oppressive environment. So good for Peter.
So it's a movie for the trades.
Yeah, it's arguing for the trades. So I brought this up because it was an example of slothfulness in the movie. It's obviously complicated, but he's definitely not a hard worker in the environment he's in.
No, 15 minutes of work a week.
Yeah. So this is where it gets complicated because people have lots of opinions, but because you took a job for a company, you have a moral obligation to work hard for them. But sometimes the way it's structured can make it hard to do that.
Yeah. If you forget to put the cover sheet on the TPS reports.
Yeah. And but the good thing is that you can get another job. So perhaps Peter's biggest flaw was not moving on earlier.
Yeah. And
it took him
hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
So maybe one of the messages is take hypnotherapy, you'll realize that the trades are better.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm not satisfied. It is like kind of tough to imagine that your life is like, I have to give 40 hours to do this like extremely mundane thing in order for the rest of my life to function.
It's cool that they implemented like, oh, we're switching the 1999s to the 2000s, in the year 1999 when this came out. That's like a cool modern, like,
because I'm sure there were people
we're hip,
who were actually kind of doing that. I'm not sure in this exact way, but who had jobs that were related to
1999. That was a crazy year, apparently.
Yeah.
We weren't there. Tressel, what is it like working, because you're a salesman.
Yes.
So do you have any similarities with this plot in your job?
I don't work in office.
Okay.
So I don't interact with my bosses almost ever or anyone I work with other than when I train.
Yeah.
But I would say yes, and sometimes because we do have meetings like every week and it's on Zoom and every time it's, that'd be great. Yeah.
There is a corporate lingo that seems to be universal. I mean, even in the way like meetings go, like working for a hospital, you're like, it has its own version, but it's like the same thing. Mm-hmm. There's like this messaging. It's going down to you.
Make sure to document this procedure.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah. Thank you.
Very rarely, like
that was a little bit too far. That was like
very rarely are things are addressed for reasons, but very rarely are they like addressed directly, so it's like this very indirect, like,
they
we
avoid eye
noticed that
contact,
this is wrong, or people have been not doing this probably as a result of something happening, and then it like comes back in this very much more general way.
You can be mean without having to feel guilty for it. You don't make eye contact. You say it in corporate lingo. You say it in a nice way, but you're kind of being mean in some ways, or you're being like pushy.
Or it would almost better just to be more direct.
But they're not trying to connect with you because their goal is to just go away and do your job. But they're not like Lumbergh doesn't make eye contact. He's looking everywhere else, right? And he's like, yeah, that would be, and he's not responding to what Peter's saying.
Right. Yeah. He's
not a conversation.
It's almost like he doesn't view him as a human.
Yeah, he doesn't.
It would be like, I would much rather this just be androids.
Which, by the way,
but then
I get that.
That would defeat the purpose of there even being a manager, though.
Sure, but listen.
If nobody made mistakes, right? What is the point of management?
That's what the Bobs kind of brought up at some point. I kind of get that. Like, it is weird that now in our quarterly earnings reports and for U.S. companies, like, companies are now bragging for having a smaller workforce, because it's like less employees to pay. But I think it's this ideology taken to fruition. Like, it's the human element is not essential in the company. The essential part is the function.
And it's starting to not to be a doomer with AI talk. But I've had discussions with people where they're like, yeah, we've incorporated AI, and you realize, oh, you can do more work. Like one person could do like way more work, which means that's great if you're that person. But for the job market as a whole, you're like, are we creating 5 more jobs that are related to the implementation of AI somewhere along the line for these people? Or are we just like the whole workforce is just being scaled down?
Well, they just had the September rate cuts by the Fed, and a lot of it was based on like labor market concerns because our labor market's bad right now. And I don't think it's just AI. I think there's a lot of different things going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not an economist, whatever.
Yeah.
So I can't even say
it's
it
interesting, like thinking about the state of things in 1999 versus now, because in some ways people might look back on the 90s or definitely the 80s as being like this ideal time where you could kind of like get a job that was like not super challenging and get paid adequately for it. And now it feels like you have to jump through all these hoops to prove that you're even worthy of a job that doesn't even pay all that well.
No, not at all.
Just to have like the next level up job from just like a job that anyone could apply for.
Yeah, it's hard. It's
the entry level market feels like it's like the worst possible. Like seeing, obviously, I picked a career that I knew was going to have lots of entry level positions available because it's a job that hasn't been able to be scaled down, and people have left because of various reasons.
Yep.
So there's that, but then there's obviously drawbacks to when you do that, because a lot of times when things are available, there's reasons for that too.
And I decided to pick one of the hardest routes just because I hate myself.
Yeah, but it's not for lack of jobs in your route. It's for the challenge of getting to be qualified to do that job.
Yeah, I mean, but also there is like a lack of jobs in some ways.
And the gatekeep. There's way more gatekeeping.
There's gatekeeping with the government and the residency spots.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there's a challenge for different reasons, or actually it's challenging, but you know exactly how challenging it is. I think there's some jobs that it's like you theoretically could get them, but you don't know who you're competing against. Oh yeah,
like the promotions are in 3 years if you stick to the plan.
Yeah.
Like that's guaranteed, and you can sue people if it doesn't happen.
Right.
Whereas in this spot, like I'm sure Peter had no idea where he was going to be, down the line working at this company.
It's much more like a
precarious
an orb of possibilities versus you do this, you do this, you do this.
Yeah.
And if you fail one of the steps, it might keep you from going forward, but you know the route that you need to take.
Yeah, unless you fail. Like you can always fail.
You can always fail though. That's the problem with it. You can always fail.
But did you know that just like in our previous film that we reviewed, was that Taxi Driver, or did we review one since then? Taxi Driver? Yeah, we had Martin Scorsese come in and cameo. Apparently Mike Judge was in this, and he played the boss of Joanna. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool.
Who's talking about the flair?
Yeah. Do you think that was a good director cameo? Because last time I said we should have more of this, and you said, You said, well.
I think it was he played the part well, and he didn't like take over the movie. And also, Mike Judge is not as big of a name, so you don't necessarily pick up that it's him. He did a lot of like animated stuff, so it makes his like when he shows his face, it's definitely not as obvious. He also
doesn't have a face
have,
for animation.
He also doesn't. Yeah, I was looking at pictures of him. He doesn't have like a really like distinct. He's kind of like a normal looking guy.
Hey,
but he did that part well, and I also liked when I watched it this time. I was like, oh, it's nice they had the restaurant, like they were showing another job and how it was also had its own version of like lingo, and people don't come to Tchotchkes for the burgers. They can get a burger anywhere. They come here for the fun and the flair. And I guess somebody was saying that this is based on like TGI Fridays. Is like their structure.
All the pins.
There was another podcast I listened to. The guy said he used to work for Fridays and he became a trainer, and he had to like sit down and have classes with waiters and tell them like about flair and like things like. It's just crazy. But that's like their market. I mean, they're not wrong. Why would you go to Fridays for a burger versus somewhere else?
I've never been. What's
you gotta have? I've never been either. That's what I'm saying. Apparently, the flair's not good enough.
I just thought it was funny. He's like, the minimum is 15 pieces of flair, but if you would like to go above and beyond, you could do more than that. And he just keeps bringing it up and bringing it up. It's just
and it's more of that. I'm telling you exactly what to do, but I'm not going to tell you you have to do this.
That's very annoying to me.
Yeah,
that's a very annoying.
I think that's what I've been kind of saying about that. What's roundabout about it is that they never say you absolutely have to do this to keep your job, but they are implying a lot. Mm-hmm. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene in this movie?
Definitely any scene with Milton. I think he was probably the highlight of the film for me. Or the neighbor Lawrence. He was really funny. I think when he came in at the beginning and was like telling him all this advice about just like leaving, just like don't do it, just go do something else. And I thought that was cool. But specifically the Milton scenes the Tom scenes. Yeah. The Tom scenes where the one that you described where he's like, you could be like me,
Yeah.
That one was probably the best scene when it comes to comedy.
There's so many little moments in this movie, and the side characters are all really well done.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying about normally you would judge a movie by its plot, and I would say the plot, the stealing and all of that and what it turns out to is not like, it's not exceptional. It's nothing crazy, but it's each of these little moments in the movie that make it what it is. I like even in the opening scene with the traffic when Michael Bolton is rapping. He's I think it's like a Scarface song, so like Houston rap, which this movie was filmed in Austin, so there's like a direct tie to the Houston rap scene. But he knows all the words, and he's just like white, like the whitest looking guy with glasses, so nerdy, and he knows all the lyrics to this gangster rap song. And then someone who is
African
American comes by and he rolls up the window and turns it down because he's like embarrassed that
and locks the door.
Shows that he might have a little bit of in spite his taste, he might still have a little bit of racism here and there in his life, so he's not perfect. But they also have the
excuse me, I'm sorry,
the scene that's famous in the middle of the movie where they destroy the printer to Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster.
Yeah, that was a really good song in it.
So, and apparently they did this more in Silicon Valley, the like juxtaposition of like gangster rap and like white yuppie culture.
Oh yeah, Mark Zuckerberg was singing that. I'm sure.
People have, but I think it's funny because it is ironic, like that they're comparing these people are singing about coming out of the streets and like their only option for living seemingly is drug dealing. Like that's the only way to make it out of this world. And these people are complaining about the fact that they have to do TPS reports, right? It doesn't seem like it's like apples to apples, but that's how they view it, though. That's how oppressive it seems to them.
But they do turn to crime, and I think there was that scene where he's like, maybe I'm conflating this with a different movie. Was there a scene in this film where he's like, we don't really have a choice, or is that a different movie? That might have been a different movie. Man, I'm struggling. I watched a lot of movies this week.
Yeah.
Or was that a movie that we watched? What movie did we watch? Spirited Away. Never mind. Okay, never mind. It wasn't that. But like, there's not much of a choice in this. Like, oh no, that was The Long Walk. Never mind.
We weren't talking about that, Zach.
I'm sorry. I just spoiled like the next couple segments. But there's this idea that they're doing crime and they're like led to that crime in this because of how annoying. And again, they're not being like starved or beaten or anything, but in some ways they're given discomfort. Whatever level you want to put that at is whatever you decide, and that discomfort is leading them to crime, right? So like in some ways the hip hop in this movie is kind of like Tressel had said, it's kind of like how these boring people are in over their heads doing crime. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think there is an ironic element to it as well.
They were supposed to be like, this is there's no like downside to this. Like, it's such an easy crime to pull off.
Yeah.
And it theoretically would be, because who's going to notice a couple? I mean, eventually someone might, if they get somebody who's like real smart in the accounting department, but clearly was not the expert. I mean, they what was Samir said, how do all these mafia guys, like, they're not smart, but they're so good at crime. And he's like, well, we haven't done crime before. This is the first time. And we're trying on this like kind of a big thing, and not just like a little like steal candy from the store or something. Like, they legitimately have never been criminals in their lives, and now they're trying to rip off a company of potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And the dream scene where
yes,
I sentenced you to pound you in the butt prison.
Yeah.
he asked the lawyer, like, he's asking him like, what should you do in prison? Like, why would you ask me that? They're like acting so suspicious throughout the whole movie.
This film in my head had a few parallels to Joe and the Volcano. Joe versus the Volcano,
where it's like
the office part.
It's the office part, and somewhat of it's so grounded yet so crazy and out there. Yeah. Like, there's aspects of it that it feels so true to life, and then aspects that you're like, well, that could never happen.
Yeah. This movie was funnier though.
Yeah, it is funny.
Yeah.
And there's less of a romantic tie. There's a little bit with Joanna and Peter, but that's not really supposed to be the main part of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's more so like it's showing that he was not only in an oppressive job, he was also in an oppressive relationship where he was like he was like the exact guy. Like, if you're a sort of manipulative lady, you could take advantage of this guy because he's like not going to ever argue with you. He was like so non-confrontational until the hypnosis. Like, he would just not argue with you because it's too inconvenient to argue with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a lot of times how it goes. This film, I feel like, comes to the sloth topic in a different way. I think it seems like the hypnosis aspect of this film really is the pivot point where the ideology changes in the character to where it's like Sloth is almost valued somewhat, It's like it might not have been valued before. He might have just been like annoyingly doing it. He might have been like lazy here and there, doing 15 minutes of work a week, sure. But I mean, right after the hypnosis, it seems like he values it a little bit more because he's doing 0 minutes of work a week, right? He's not wasting any of his time.
And somehow he becomes more valued. Yeah. So it shows in this environment, it's not about the value that you actually bring. It's about the perception of the value that you bring.
Exactly.
Or like the potential that you have. Because that seems like the Bobs were like, this guy has a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's all so superficial.
You and what you're doing right now, they're like, potentially you could do something that we like. You're showing that to us. That's what I'm saying. As opposed to like Samir, and they could look at their actual like work and be like, oh wow, they're actually like good programmers. But I'm sure that's not what they were looking at.
No. But the thing I loved about this film was really, I mean, it wasn't necessarily like the acting is goofy. It's supposed to be goofy, but it's like I really loved the character interactions in general. I think Peter with his two friends, and when they're scheming in the apartment, Peter with his neighbor was fun. I even like Peter and Jennifer Aniston. Those were fun scenes. I just think like the banter, and then like arguing like about getting caught, and like you said, like how did the gangsters do it, or how did the mob bosses do it, and then like, man, you messed up. Yeah, I'm sorry I messed up, but you got us into this mess. Like a lot of those interactions I thought were the highlights of this movie for me. Outside of Milton, I think Milton is just a unique. He's kind of like the Creed of this movie in The Office,
He doesn't really interact with any of the characters.
Yeah, he's basically Creed.
Yes, he's such an influential part of what happens.
I mean, he burns down the building at the end,
Yeah.
And he goes into the Bahamas or whatever.
Because he is truly the guy who is taken the most advantage by these companies. Because he's he doesn't have the like social ability to like stand up for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he constantly gets pushed around, and you can see how he eventually just like snaps. Mm-hmm. But even in the Bahamas, it was showing like he was still actually I was supposed to get a different margarita. Could you yeah, like, and it's just like he's still getting like,
yeah, he's mumbling. Yeah, and it's funny because there was that scene where he's like, okay, sounds good, but that was the last straw. You know, it's just like,
well, I think he's predicting it through. He's like, if I'm gonna burn this place down.
Yeah.
He like mumbles like little stuff that's like, you're like, don't, you just think he's being dramatic, but he's actually like saying like serious things.
Mm-hmm. He's like, okay, I can do that, but I don't want to move.
Also the fact that Bill still asked him to like clean something in the basement or do something, like to spray, I think for bugs or something. Like he's still asking him to do work even though he knows that he's not getting paid.
Like, it's
he's
terrible.
like, well, he's still here, we're letting him still be here.
And he took his red stapler. He's like, yep, let me see, I'll take that, you know. He like takes his red stapler, and that was Milton. I think that was Milton. Like that was the final straw. That was it. After, and then he moved down in the basement, and that was it. This was a good pick for Sloth. I like the angle that we took with it because I think you could have picked a movie that's like, I don't know, more about specifically laziness, but I think this epitomizes laziness in the sense of like, how does laziness come about in our lives, right? And it can come about through like lack of accountability, lack of, I guess a structured, disciplined situation.
Lack of aspiration to like,
motivation.
If you're not devoting your life to something that's worth aspiring to, then you're going to naturally drift into lazy. It doesn't necessarily excuse the laziness, but it may be you should challenge yourself to figure out a way that you can still aspire to something. Like if we're supposed to like work hard, but obviously it doesn't make sense to work hard for something that you don't really believe in or you don't really value. So I think that's the lesson that Peter learned. Basically, eventually his solution was to do something else.
Yeah. What was the quote you put on? What was it about?
He says in the movie, "It's not that I'm lazy. I just don't care."
Who says it? Peter?
Peter. Yes. Do you think that's true? That he's actually not lazy, or do you think he's lazy and doesn't
I don't know.
care?
I mean, not caring can lead you to laziness. So he probably just doesn't have the full definition of laziness in mind. But I could see that, like lack of motivation, lack of structure, lack of accountability. Those things are necessary for discipline.
He is kind of a lazy person in the rest of his life, and the fact that he is aspiring to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like he says, the perfect day would be just not doing anything.
Yeah.
Which is a fantasy that you sometimes have, but you're like, there's no way that can be fulfilling either.
No. I mean, you get bored right away.
But he doesn't exactly do nothing. He goes fishing and stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't like completely isolate himself from people. He's still hanging out with like his neighbor, But I think he has to reframe his mindset and more than just his job.
Yeah.
It's like stuff going on in the rest of his life he's also lazy in.
Yeah. And speaking of reframing, Hedman England Agency is now Point A Insurance, right?
Yes. And if you're interested in business insurance, you can get business owners policy. If you're a small business, company like Initech might need business liability insurance. Say you fire someone and you get sued. There's different things that you're liable for. You're liable for the property. You're liable for your products. So whatever your situation may be, Point A Insurance has a solution for you and wants to protect your risks and your assets. So call them at 614-486-7300.
614-486-7300.
And tell them that Ben and Zach and Trestle sent you.
Yeah, the Movie Vault sent you, and get their insurance. I've had them. I think I had 6 claims in 6 months, which is, I think it's a record. So I got a T-shirt at the Point A Insurance, not orientation, not inauguration.
It was the rebranding event.
Rebranding event, yes. Wonderful event, wonderful time.
Lots of great people surrounding Point A these days. So even if you're looking for you don't quite have an insurance need, but you have other needs, the network of companies that's associated with Point A is full of a lot of really great companies and great people.
Yes.
So we'd love to point you in the right direction.
Yes. What is it?
Well, I'm not even gonna try
because we messed it up. Something about our mission is something, and that's Point A's mission.
We're gonna get it at some point because it's honestly unacceptable that we haven't been able to memorize.
I think
the new slogan.
it's pretty simple and we should know it. It's just
your success, our mission.
Your success, our mission, and by our it's Point A. So, yeah, you will have success with them, even if success looks like dealing with a car accident, dealing with a house break-in. I don't know how that works, but call them. They're wonderful, 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 wonderful people.
Yes.
What is this? What's this one? The movie highs and movie lows. That sounds like fun.
What were some of the low points in this movie to you guys? Because you guys already hit on your favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Which kind of hits on the
Wait,
highs.
I want to ask you because you gave it 3 stars.
3 stars for me is not bad. I feel like I do things a little lower. I only have 1 5-star movie compared to both you guys having a lot more.
Is it Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Across or into?
Across.
Okay.
So I feel like
that's fair.
I feel like I
mean, it's still above 50% if you're considering
I think
that.
it was like a 6 out of 10, maybe 6.5 out of 10.
6, 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was being serious, but
so I don't think of it as that low, to be honest. I thought it was funny. I think it's very rewatchable, which
okay. Yeah, that's true.
Is one of the things I use when I go into rating my films.
Have you listened to the rewatchables?
Yes. Yeah. Not a lot.
Okay.
But a little bit with Bill Simmons, of course.
Yeah. I love Chris Ryan. I just love Chris Ryan so much.
Yeah, and Sean Fennessy.
Yeah, Sean's not on the rewatchables that much, but
when they're all 3 of them are on.
Yeah, when it's Bill, Sean, and Chris, that's the trifecta right there.
Yeah.
They did There Will Be Blood. That was one of my favorite episodes.
That's like every film bro's dream.
Yes, it is. Those 3 men. What about you, Ben? What's like a low point? Because you complimented this film a lot.
I mean, I'm sure if you're nitpicking, you can find some stuff. I think like I said, the overall like plot is not like anything to write home about per se. But I also was just arguing that that's not really that's not where you're finding the enjoyment of the movie in. So
that's
I
not
don't
what
know
it's
if we should,
about.
like,
It's not
judge
the purpose.
Because it almost feels like they got like 3/4 of the way through the movie and were like, oh shoot, we need like some sort of conflict to like other than just general workplace annoyance. I really don't have too many things that I didn't like about the movie though.
That's good. I'm happy for you. I think the middle part was pretty slow for me. Just when he's trying to figure out himself, and there's a good chunk of
montage scene where he's fishing.
No, I like that one.
Okay.
There was a good 30 minutes of the film that I thought there wasn't really much going on outside of a few gags here and there that were actually funny, but the plot didn't carry through. And, that's fine if it's, a King of the Hill episode or Beavis and Butthead, but I think in a long movie format, it doesn't work for me as well. And I think you had said something similar.
Yeah, that's basically
kind of like pacing of the
pacing,
movie.
I would say.
Yeah,
I would agree. It's for an hour and a half movie. It's not the snappiest. You know what I mean?
No, not really.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about movie highlights? Unless you have anything else to say, Ben.
No, I don't. I was just thinking about how friendship and this movie have some
I was going to ask
sort
that.
of like connections.
I was going to
which
say
I think I'm going to talk about friendship in my movie highlights.
Yeah.
Just because Friendship's a recent movie with Tim Robinson, and Tim Robinson's comedy doesn't work on everyone because it's a lot of him just like going crazy, but it kind of speaks to this like social anxiety that people have, and like it's kind of cringy, but Friendship was about male friendships, suburban life, sort of working for a company culture too. And it has that sort of feeling where it's like it feels like an extended TV show, or an extended skit almost, because I mean Tim Robinson also is known for skit comedy or like sketch comedy. So it's like, what if you made a sketch like a full movie? And I rated Friendship pretty high as well. So maybe just this style of film works more for me than it does for other people.
Yeah, you seem to really enjoy it.
I'm willing to forgive or like look at a film that's structured that way differently if it's funny enough.
Sure.
I think is my thought. So I don't care if like there's some parts of the plot that seem like kind of disjointed.
Yeah.
Because those decisions were probably made to hopefully make the movie more funny.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So anyway, I can get into movie highlights.
Go for it. You got a lot.
I got a lot.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom while you go. I'm sorry, I really can't hold it. I'm gonna
That's
look.
Okay.
I'll look at your diary.
And we'll talk about anything that is really important. But I don't know exactly where I left off last time, so I'll go Elevator to the Gallows, French movie. Monsieur Hollet's Holiday, another French movie. Jacques Tati, he's pretty good, pretty funny French filmmaker. More abstract movie there. Slacker, Richard Linklater movie, super influential on hipster culture in the 90s. Inside Llewyn Davis, a Coen Brothers movie that's kind of a black comedy. It wasn't my favorite. Paul Schrader's The Canyons. Same guy who wrote Taxi Driver. The movie wasn't that good. So Taxi Driver much better.
That's disappointing.
Sort of a thriller, kind of odd. It was a weird movie. Caught Stealing, new movie that came out. Darren Aronofsky, very different from what he normally does. Liked it a lot. Enjoyed it. It's very fun. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. Taxi Driver, obviously we reviewed it, so listen to that. Shoot Down the Sun is a 70s Western movie starring Christopher Walken, who I love. But the movie, the plot kind of meanders and is kind of it's just not really that interesting. But the Christopher Walken performance is fun. So, and he's much younger than you see him in most movies these days. Friendship, which I was just talking about, rated at 4 stars. Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd star in it. It's mostly Tim Robinson leading, and then Paul Rudd actually ended up being in more of the movie than they initially anticipated. But Robinson is zany, out of control. It goes in directions you don't expect. I liked it a lot. New David Cronenberg movie, The Shrouds. Standard Cronenberg stuff. I thought more highly of this movie than a lot of people did. A lot of people were very critical of The Shrouds. It's about a guy who is selling a technology where you can watch people's bodies decay. So he's watching his wife's bodies decay. It's called Grave Tech.
That's cool.
And it's like this, like Vincent Cassel plays this like Elon Musk-esque character where he's like a tech entrepreneur, but he's somehow also like tied into these other, there's like family drama and all this stuff that's also happening. And he ends up sleeping with his wife's sister, who looks exactly like her.
On accident?
Yeah. No, on purpose.
Oh.
And even though he told his wife that he wasn't going to do that while she was still living.
Well, I'm glad he said that.
It's the Cronenberg. It's the classic Cronenberg combination of technology, sex, and horror that everyone knows him for.
I specifically
you cheated on me after I specifically asked you not to.
That's so good.
Yeah. And then I watched Buster Keaton's The Cameraman, which was great. Buster Keaton's always funny.
I'm in the middle of a City Lights.
What? Oh,
that's Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin. Still similar style.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts, good.
You
solid.
liked
3.5 stars.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm glad you liked
Sinners, also solid. 3.5 stars. Two of the better movies of this year. Mouseboat Massacre. Now that's not going to be one of the better movies of this year. Although I rated it, it's probably 2 stars is still like high for the category.
The IP spinoff.
IP spinoff. They never develop the stories of the killers like at all. They're just like, it's just like, oh, there's this like drama going on between these group of young people, and then you're getting killed by Mickey Mouse.
Well,
like,
what they got to do is be like, what changed in Mickey?
This girl was going through like drug addiction, so people didn't believe her because they were trying to like confront her about it, and they didn't believe that Mickey Mouse was killing people.
Well, here's the thing: they have to do a movie where it's like, man, something just snapped in Mickey, right? The clubhouse wasn't doing it for him one day.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he just starts killing all the people.
I think they focus too much on the characters who aren't like the IP characters end up just like being like robots that kill
like
people.
A generic bad guy.
They're so generic.
Like use the IP.
And they're usually like not showed.
Yeah, what was the one that we watched? Mousetrap? Have you seen that one?
I've seen Mousetrap.
It's literally set in an arcade or
literally
a Magic Mountain type thing. And it's like a teen's birthday party. It has nothing to, but Mickey Mouse is killing people. It has there's no Mickey Mouse element besides, hey, this guy is Mickey. It's literally a
But I think that's
demon Mickey Mouse.
Like Chuck E.
the sort
Cheese.
of like
Yeah, it
abstract and the like the consistency, the rate that they're making these movies at is what is sort of gripping about the whole idea.
We should star
of
in
it.
one.
Yeah,
Winnie
we
the
could
Pooh.
honestly make one.
I could do better than that.
I honestly
Not
think
making. I could
we
act better.
We could make a better script than the ones that are written.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that we could like execute the actual filmmaking better, but the script would be better.
We have a script with something that we could just replace with Mickey Mouse. You know the script I'm talking about?
I do.
We could replace that character with Mickey Mouse.
I know, with Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
All right, and then I watched The Front Page, which is from 1931.
I've seen that.
An early talk. You've seen it?
Yeah, I had to watch it for my theater class.
So I only rated it 2.5 stars, but
what?
I may have like sometimes I think like when I'm watching movies at this rate, I'm like not paying attention to them well enough.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have been the case with this one.
No, that's like 3.5. That's a good movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
it's like it's just
so
about
it probably
journalism,
deserves a rewatch.
early journalism, and then when the crime is actually happening in the journalism room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a bunch of
You say.
yeah. I watched The Alto Knights with Robert De Niro playing two characters. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was like that bad. You know what I mean?
Mid.
It was a 3 out of 5, but a lot of people have been like rating much worse than 3 out of 5. But I didn't think it was horrible. Like
it's hard because his expectations are so
it's
high.
a fine mob movie. It's not like one of his best.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd rather that than like Dirty Grandpa or whatever, Bad Grandpa, whatever that movie is.
Yeah.
I'd rather the Alto Knights.
Naughty
than that.
Grandpa.
Naughty Grandpa.
Like what kind of grandpa are we to do next?
And then I watched Popeye's Revenge, which 1.5 stars again. It's just about Popeye killing people. They use an anchor to kill people. I guess that's cool.
That's cool, yeah.
One of 3 Popeye movies that came out this year, so we'll see if I get to the other 2.
Nice.
Definitely a good use of my time. But they're hour 20-minute movies too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
You can knock them out real quick. And then Office Space.
Yeah. I think we talked about it since Taxi Driver. I watched Pi. I think we talked about that. I love Darren Aronofsky's first film. And then Trestle and I 2 nights ago watched Spirited Away.
Yep.
That's a 5-star film for me, so I rewatched it.
Well, sorry that I added like 10 minutes to the podcast.
Yeah, you definitely
about,
did.
Like all the movies.
Also, your toilet seat came off. Is that common?
Yeah, I don't know how to fix it.
Like I went pee. I was actively peeing when it fell, so I didn't pick it up. It's still down there.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'll fix it. It's like it looks like it's like I don't know whatever piece that is like supposed to connect it like kind of just like comes off. It's weird.
I just
but I don't know how to fix it.
I like pulled it up, like the seat
I'm
was
too
down, I put it
lazy.
up and it just came off.
I'm too lazy to tell my landlord about it, so
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Ask your neighbor, he might know.
He actually might know.
Yeah. What do you got your movie?
I
highlights?
watched since the last time you guys did this. I watched 12 Angry Men.
Oh, that's a good movie.
I gave that a 5-star.
Wow. So you have
Yeah.
2 5-stars.
That's
Yes.
maybe the best script ever written. It's really good.
I'd have to agree. It was really good. I watched The Princess Bride. I had never seen it before, which was surprising. But I really liked it too.
Yeah.
I gave that one a
That's a fun
4-star,
movie.
which is pretty high
Pretty
as well.
bad to die.
Great book too.
I haven't read the book, but I've heard it's good. I watched They Came Together, which is like a spoof on Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
With
Did you
like-
skip Hamilton?
I watched Hamilton in theaters.
Oh.
That was fun.
Were
I
you
like
afraid
Hamilton.
to say it? Is that why you skipped it?
I just, I know how you feel about it.
No, it's okay.
I didn't want to ruffle any feathers.
I'm not against it. Anna likes it a lot.
But yeah, They Came Together I think was really funny.
Okay.
I had never heard of it before actually, but it's Paul Rudd. It's like a really good cast to be honest, and it was really funny. It was also a little bit like Office Space, where it's just more like a series of skits making fun of Hallmark movies. So doing the tropes where like they turn out at the end, they're like actually and stuff like that. And it starts snowing and like he is a big business conglomerate employee, and she has a little candy shop that he shuts down.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you think it would be. I watched K-pop Demon Hunters as well.
Oh, what'd you
I
think?
was curious what you thought about that.
I gave it 2.5, but I had a friend who actually told me it was really good, and I
Which
wasn't
friend?
disappointed. Brett,
Really?
yeah, he really liked it.
He would.
Yeah, and I didn't hate it. I
Okay.
thought it was okay. The music's not terrible. I've never listened to any K-pop in my life.
Yeah, it's really popular with the young people.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yeah.
still owe Brett a movie recommendation
Yeah,
because I asked him if he saw Truman Show and he's already seen it.
yeah, but I thought it was pretty good. It was solid. I mean, it was a straight to Netflix movie, but it's kind of been blowing up.
Oh my gosh, it's the number one movie on Netflix ever.
Yeah.
Most watched film.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the music is like very popular too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not bad. Like that's how Sid found out about it, was just on the radio. They were playing the music. And so we decided to watch it. And it's not long, but it's not terrible. It's cool animation. It's Sony Studios that does it. So it's a little bit similar to the expressive animation that I like, where it's not literal, where it's, words around their head.
Yeah. Comic
popcorn,
booky somewhat.
Yeah. Which is my style.
Maybe Sony should just shift to only doing animation, because I feel like the most successful things they've done have been
Did they do the
related to
Teenage
animation.
Mutant movies or no?
I can't remember.
It was similar animation style.
Okay.
That one.
Oh, you're talking about like the newest iteration.
I don't know if that's Sony, but that was awesome.
Yeah. But I thought it was okay. And then I watched Office Space last night.
Yep.
Thought it was pretty good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, any final thoughts before we close the vault?
I've said my piece.
Okay.
I
hope none of us get stuck in a situation like that.
Like Office Space.
Yeah.
Well, you're inevitably going to end up in an Office Spacian situation at some point in your life.
Yeah.
just
But
don't
you just got to work
the
through
Mondays.
Someone's got a case of the Mondays.
Yeah, I hate that. That's the cringiest thing.
I know, that's what I'm talking about this movie. There's like every little piece is
but
like so thought about, because there's somebody in who you're going to work
There's
with at
one
some
phrase
point.
worse than that.
Corporate accounts payable. Nina speaking.
No,
just
not,
a moment.
No, just a moment.
Just a moment.
No, not that. I'm saying in life, when somebody says, "Oh, you're not a happy camper," oh my gosh, I want to hurt everyone. That's my reaction. Like, I don't like that phrase at all. Of course, I'd never hurt anyone, but I took the Hippocratic oath.
People probably thought about Milton too.
Yeah, but he didn't.
He actually did.
No, I don't know if anybody. I would probably think Milton would hurt people if I met him.
That's true.
So
funny thing about Milton. Last thing I found out this bit of trivia: his glasses were so thick, the actor Stephen Root had to wear contacts. He still couldn't see right.
Wow.
Like contacts to see through how thick the glasses were.
Also, fun fact that stapler sales went up after this film.
I'm sure they did.
Red staplers.
Yeah. They didn't have red staplers anymore, and they had to remake them because people were requesting them for their office.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I bet there were offices who were like, they were like, the way to combat this is to ironically, like, to be like, oh, we're so Office Space.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that so cringy?
Those would be the worst kind, probably.
They're like, but you do have to come in on Saturday. We're like Office Space. You have to come in on Saturday.
Yeah.
No, but seriously.
They set up is this good? I cracked up so much when I saw the is this good for the company banner.
Yeah.
Every time you do something, think, is this good for the company? I was like, they're just saying what, like, I don't know.
Ben enjoys this more than us, which is good. I'm happy for you. Let's close the vault.
I don't know what this is about my life.
Let's close the vault.
We'll close it.
All right. Well, you see, yeah, I'm going to take that.